Hi, I'm Stan Lee, co-creator of such superheroes as Spider-Man, the Fantastic Four, the X-Men, Iron Man, the Hulk. Many people claim to possess extraordinary powers. But I want to know which are truly superhuman. I want you to meet Daniel Browning Smith. He's the world's most flexible man. Together, Daniel and I are on a mission to find people with real superpowers. Superhumans are out there. Prepare to meet them. This time, I'm on the hunt for people with superhuman pain tolerance. Like the Incredible Hulk. But what if we could find such a person? Wouldn't that be something to search for? Hey, there you are! Daniel, good to see you again. Daniel, this is your lucky day. I've got 4 people who claim to have pain-proof powers for you to investigate.
Well, we don't know if they're superhuman yet, but I'll go find out.
Well, don't make a liar out of me. My reputation is at stake. I'm sending Daniel to find 4 people who claim to have superhuman pain tolerance. A human hammerhead.
Sure you want to do this, Mr. Lee? So what would happen if a nail pierced his skull?
If it were to go through, it could kill him right away.
A man who doesn't bleed.
Wow. Are you in any pain?
I need to expect some bleeding from that incision at least. No pain. No pain. Incredible.
And an indestructible man.
So he's going to have 2 tons of pressure on this fraction of a square inch.
Well, and on his windpipe.
But first up, I've heard of a man who claims he can keep an unbelievable amount of weight on his chest.
3,000 pounds.
I want Daniel to find out if he really is uncrushable.
I don't think I've honestly been more worried for a superhero ever.
So what are we waiting for? Go get those superhumans. What you are about to see is real. Some of these tests could cause serious injury or even death. Do not try these tests yourself.
First stop on Stan's quest to find pain-proof superhumans, I'm on my way to meet a weightlifter who claims his chest is indestructible.
I've come to Logroñes, Spain, to meet Eduardo Aramayo, a man rumored to have the ability to hold up a bone-crushing 1.5 tons on his chest.
I am the only person in the world to put this much weight on my body.
Well, I want to meet him.
And find out he really has a body of steel. I'm meeting Eduardo at this auto repair garage, where he's going to attempt to withstand the full weight of his tow truck on his chest.
Excuse me. Are you Eduardo?
But when I meet him,
Hello.
Eduardo doesn't look as tough as I expected.
I searched you out because I heard you were uncrushable. Is that true?
Sí, es cierto. That's true. So far, nothing has ever been able to break my bones. Nothing can destroy me.
But surely a truck this size will crush his ribs.
Are your bones different than a normal person?
Yes, I believe my bones are structured differently to other humans.
So you're telling me that you can hold more weight on your chest than anyone else in the world?
Yes, I can confirm that without a problem.
The vehicle's curb weight alone is around 5,000 pounds. But add in a winch arm and towing gear, this truck weighs over 4 tons.
So Eduardo claims that he's going to actually lift this truck up with a crane and then set it right on his chest. Seems impossible. It seems like his lungs should burst. The pressure would stop his heart from beating. But seeing is believing, so.
First, Eduardo proves that all the truck's weight will reach the ground. one of the truck's wheels will now be lowered directly onto his chest. And the only thing between Eduardo and the wheel is a thin layer of foam to stop his skin from tearing. Time to put Eduardo's claim to the test. With the 4-ton truck's wheel right on top of him, Eduardo's struggling to breathe.
You okay?
Okay.
Man, that was intense. Very intense.
Okay.
You okay?
Okay.
Oh.
Perfect.
That was very impressive. What was it the breathing about?
Yo no puedo soltar.
The reason for my breathing is that I have to let it out little by little. If I breathe out all at once, my chest would collapse and I could have a heart attack.
Paro cardíaco, a desmayo.
But how much weight was really on him?
That was very impressive. I definitely couldn't do that, and I'm sure every year people get injured and even die by getting crushed by cars, much smaller than this. But, however, I'm a little skeptical because the crane's still attached to it. There's wheels on the ground, so I don't know exactly how much weight you were taking. So this definitely deserves further investigations.
To find out if Eduardo's chest is really the strongest on the planet, I'm bringing in a surgeon specializing in crush injuries. I explained to Dr. Dirk Dolbert the weight that I just witnessed Eduardo withstand.
Lifted up a truck with a crane, crawled underneath it, set the truck right there on his chest. So it seemed like if it happened to anyone else, they would die. So I'm trying to figure out exactly what was going on.
After examining Eduardo's chest, Dr. Dolbert comes up with a plan to focus the weight directly onto his body and find out how strong his chest really is.
Well, I have a great idea for this, and what we thought we would do is we would take a watermelon, so that rind around the watermelon is just like Eduardo's chest wall. And what happens is at some point that rind is going to break, just like your ribs would break, and then unfortunately inside all those organs would get squashed.
So it's Eduardo versus the watermelon.
It is, and let's see who's going to win.
All right.
The average human chest can withstand 300 pounds.
All right, let's do it.
Each one of these weights is a punishing 44 pounds.
Okay, Daniel, check out what's happening to the watermelon as they stack those weights on it. See how it's starting to compress down? At some point, it's going to reach its breaking point. Look over here at the board that's now pressing down on Eduardo's chest. Same thing is happening. Now, that watermelon's about what an average human could take right now. Eduardo's chest should be just breaking. His ribcage should just be shattering right now.
So there goes the watermelon.
There goes the watermelon. Look at that.
Oh, man.
Okay, and they're still stacking the weight on Eduardo. I can't believe how much weight he's got on his chest.
Eduardo's already at double the weight required to crush a human chest.
Daniel, look how that board now is flexing on his chest. All that weight is pressing down, and again, he's got to have an incredibly strong rib cage to counterbalance that.
The extreme weight is also crushing his lungs and heart towards breaking point.
You can see when he breathes, he's actually lifting the weights up with just a breath of air. Well, I mean, you can see the veins popping out on his head. It looks like his eyes are going to bug out.
That's the scary thing, Daniel, that I'm worried about, is he's creating this incredible pressure in his head right now. His carotid arteries are just bulging out of his neck.
Dirk thinks the pressure inside Eduardo's body is now potentially deadly. But if Eduardo breathes out, the weight would crush him instantly.
You know, I'm satisfied. I've seen enough. I'm a little scared. I think we should stop. Wow.
The test has proven Eduardo's chest really is capable of withstanding a huge amount of weight.
Just unbelievable. I've never seen anything like it. He generates so much force in his chest, Daniel, and that's the only way he keeps everything from his brain from just doing what the watermelon did.
Time to count up exactly how much weight Eduardo's chest withstood.
That's more than half a ton.
That's unbelievable that he just had that on his chest. It's incredible. I've never seen anything like it ever.
Eduardo just withstood 1,270 pounds of bone-crushing weight on his chest. But he wants to prove he can withstand even more pain.
In a few days' time, he'll attempt a feat that will redefine the pain limits of the human body.
3,000 pounds.
And I'm sending Daniel to meet another person who claims to possess extreme pain tolerance.
If it were to go through, it could kill him right away.
On my mission to find pain-proof superhumans, Daniel has already witnessed a jaw-dropping feat of superhuman pain tolerance.
You know, I'm satisfied I've seen enough. I'm a little scared. I think we should stop.
That's unbelievable that he just had that on his chest. It's incredible.
And in a few days' time, he'll attempt a feat that will redefine the pain limits of the human body.
3,000 pounds. I don't think I've honestly been more worried for a superhuman ever.
Meanwhile, I'm sending Daniel to meet another person who claims to possess extreme pain tolerance. I want Daniel to see how far he can push his ability.
Next stop on Stan's pain quest.
I've come to Bangkok, Thailand, to meet a man rumored to have a skull as strong as steel.
I've met superhumans with hard heads before.
From what I hear, Li Zin takes it to a whole new level.
I am the only person who can take this much pain. If anyone wants to try, I challenge him to come and try and beat me.
I want to know just how much pain his skull can withstand. I'm meeting Li Zin at a warehouse near Bangkok's shipping port to find out for myself how much pain this man can really take. And when I arrive, he's got 6 slabs of concrete balanced on his skull.
How do you train for your head to take such extreme pressures?
I have trained for 40 years to carry weight on my head. Now my skull can carry over 150 pounds.
Well, I can see that you lifted quite a lot of weight just then. Let me see this brick. Oh, man. Wow, it's even heavier than it looks. So you got, what, 6 of those? That's like 175 pounds? Well, that's pretty impressive. But I noticed on your skull you have this indentation.
His skull appears mutated by the years of training.
Wow, I've never seen anything like that.
Lee doesn't just tolerate weights on his head. He says he can withstand the pain of his entire body weight focused onto a tiny point of his skull in a headstand.
Well, I'd really like to see what you do. Do you have something else you can show me?
There are many skull tricks I can show you. Let's start with a bottle.
He's going to invert the glass bottle and then do a headstand on it. One slip and the bottle will smash and cut through the vital arteries to his brain. Wow. It's impressive, but this is all about balance, not pain. I'll need to see more to convince me that Lee's superhuman.
Very cool.
Lee says he wants to prove just how pain-proof his head is by doing another headstand, but this time on a 9-inch industrial nail head. But before Lee attempts such an extreme challenge, I'm taking him in for an MRI to find out if his skull has been affected by 40 years of training. First, we look at his flesh.
So let's just flip through these.
Remember, we put these 2 markers on here so we could kind of see exactly where Mr. Lee's been putting the pressure on his head. And kind of out here is normal white tissue, and right underneath there is where those changes have taken place. Pretty dramatic changes.
That's crazy. I mean, it's drastically different.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. There's been some changes and replacement with scar tissue.
What is the massive change to his skin tissue? Is that how he can tolerate so much pain?
You know, I think that would certainly affect some nerve endings and that sort of thing that would maybe make him tolerate it a little bit longer than the normal person could do.
Now it's time to examine the thickness of his skull.
All right, so one of our second questions was there any difference to his bone? The thickness, maybe that would explain it, but, you know, and when we measure it, it comes up to about 8 or 9 millimeters. You know, 1 centimeter was maybe the upper limits of normal, so it's below that. So I don't think we can attribute to his skull thickness.
Lee's skull is no thicker than average, but Dr. Howard spots a denser area of skull bone.
Looking through it, you can kind of see there's been some changes. If this black tissue is his bone, something's caused some changes to his bone. Not that dramatic, but something has definitely changed right there.
It may be stronger than average, but when I tell Dr. Howard that Lee is planning a headstand on a nail, he shows me some graphic x-rays of his skull trauma victims.
Well, if a nail went through his skull, it could cause death. We've had nail injuries to the head. Some of them survived, some of them have not, though. This gentleman sustained it through a softer part of his skull than Mr. Lee on the temporal bone, but it pierced his skull. This nail was about 6 centimeters in length. I mean, he had significant brain damage.
Wow. So what Mr. Lee is doing is very serious.
Oh, I think it's pretty dangerous, yeah.
After looking at these photos, are you scared of your nail now?
Now I see them, I am worried. But I don't think that will happen to me.
I mean, how much pressure?
It's now time for Lee Zen to take pain to a whole new level and perform a bone-breaking headstand on a 9-inch steel nail.
If it were to go through, it could kill him right away.
Sure you want to do this, Mr. Lee?
I'm on a mission to find superhumans who push pain to the max. I'm in Bangkok, where Lee Zen has welded this 9-inch steel nail to a metal plate. He's going to attempt to balance his whole body weight on the nail head. But first, a brain trauma surgeon is going to demonstrate just how deadly this is.
So, Dr. Howard, what could go wrong here?
I have here with me a replica human skull, and I could demonstrate for you if you'd like. So Mr. Lee's weight will go on such a small surface area. And I'm going to try to demonstrate what would happen with that much force. Cool.
Whoa.
All right, well, that went all the way through. Let's take a look.
Oh, man.
Wow.
There you go.
That is intense.
With less than half of the doctor's body weight, this is what would happen to an average human skull.
Okay. Now, this is serious. What kind of injury would this be?
If it were to go through, I think it could go all the way in, get to his brainstem, and it could kill him right away.
Wow. So this is very, very serious.
Very serious, very dangerous.
Honestly, Mr. Lee, this sounds impossible.
Lee is going to attempt to stand on the nail for 30 seconds.
Dr. Howard demonstrated what could happen to the human skull if weight was applied to a pinpoint such as this. So whatever you do, do not try this at home. So here comes the moment of truth. He's going to attempt to put his entire body weight on that steel rod.
Lee's MRI suggested that his skull may be stronger than average, but there's only one way to find out if it's strong enough to take on this potentially lethal force.
I just keep thinking about that skull over and over again and the blood going everywhere.
I think this is a really dangerous thing for him to try to do, and so, as you saw, I mean, this could kill him or at least cause serious damage to him.
All of Lee's weight is now on the nail head.
Wow.
But the clock doesn't start until Lee's hands leave the ground.
That is absolutely unbelievable. I mean, you can see the intense amount of pressure that he's putting on his head.
No
He's so composed. His entire body weight on that small little rod.
He's not even flinching like it hurts.
It's not pinching his skull at all. This is so amazing. This is exactly what I was looking for.
Keeps going.
Wow.
Oh, that was amazing. Look at this. That's incredible.
Somehow Lee's skull withstood the force of the nail for over 30 seconds.
That was superhuman to me. Absolutely amazing.
Lee Sing's mind-boggling demonstration of skull strength is almost too much to bear. But let's face it, this man has proven the human skull can accept a punishment that we wouldn't have dreamed possible. Next up on this amazing search for the world's most pain-proof humans, I am sending Daniel to find a man who is so oblivious to pain that you're not gonna believe what he can withstand.
Stan sent me back to Europe searching for another pain-proof man.
I'm in Bilbao, Spain, to meet a Russian man named Evgeny Kuznetsov. He claims he can pierce straight through his flesh with potentially lethal objects, and he does so without bleeding.
I think I am unique. I do not think there are any other people like me in the world.
Could he truly be the world's most pain-proof man?
I'm here to find out. Evgeny's asked me to meet him at a kebab shop. The perfect place to demonstrate his ability to skewer his own flesh.
Are you Evgeny?
Yes.
Hi, I'm Daniel. Nice to meet you. I searched you out because I heard you had the ability to pierce your flesh with sharp objects. Is that true?
Yes. I can pierce my flesh anywhere. It could be my neck, my arm, my leg, anywhere.
Can you show me something?
Evgeny is now going to use a genuine kebab skewer to demonstrate his pain-proof power.
Не проблема.
It looks real. It definitely looks real. Are you in any pain?
Никаких проблем вообще. Абсолютно.
Wow. The fact that you're not bleeding and there's no marks on your face just makes it seem unbelievable.
It's no problem at all. You see, no marks anywhere.
I've heard of people born with no sense of pain. But why is there no blood or puncture wounds?
Why aren't you bleeding?
For each stunt, I just have to concentrate on the point of my body that I don't want to bleed.
So the same technique you use to not feel pain is also the same technique you use to not bleed?
Yes, I just anticipate the moment before it happens.
I've seen things like this before, and I just want to make sure what you're doing is real. So I want to take you to a scientist, get a closer look at your body, and see exactly what's going on.
This skewer looked painful enough. But is he pushing through a part of his body that just doesn't bleed? To push Evgeny's pain tolerance to the limit, we're heading to a crossbow range to find out if he can withstand metal darts being thrown into his back.
The potential is there that something serious could happen.
You could get paralyzed.
Oh, absolutely.
I'm in Spain in search of pain-proof superhumans. I've just witnessed Evgeny Kuznetsov skewer his own face and leave absolutely no trace. This skewer looked painful, but is he just using body parts that don't bleed? Now I want Evgeny to perform another extreme stunt, but this time in front of a trauma wound expert.
So what would keep him from bleeding?
At the moment, I'm not absolutely sure. I wouldn't mind seeing seeing something for myself and see how it's actually done.
You mind showing us? All right, so that was pretty intense.
Yeah, I mean, you can see this, it's not just a puncture hole, there's actually a little incision. And you'd expect some bleeding from that incision at least. There's a lot of nerve endings there. You're looking at about 2,000 to 4,000 nerve endings within that 1 to 2 centimetre block.
Evgeny is now going to pierce his arm with a needle while we use an ultrasound to see inside his flesh.
Okay, so what exactly am I looking at here?
Okay, so what you can see there is just see the top line, and that's the epidermis. So that's the top layer of the skin. Underneath then, you can see the dermis, and you can actually see the needle passing through the dermis. So see that thick bar going through? That's the needle.
The ultrasound shows that the needle is passing deep through his flesh, piercing capillaries and veins. So why is there no blood?
Well, can you tell from this ultrasound that he's different? Does it explain the pain? Does it explain the lack of blood?
The anatomy's all the same as what I'd expect for you or I. We've got all the structures in the right place. You can see the muscles. In my experience, yeah, that's unexplainable, because that's a normal person's anatomy.
Let me take a look at your arm, please.
So where did it actually go in?
It's hard to tell. You would expect a bruise or
I'd expect lots of bruising. I'd expect multiple scars, small holes, all manner of things you'd normally associate with some sort of incision. No, it's incredible.
Evgeny's baffled the wound specialist with his ability to inflict wounds on himself. But it's time to turn up the pain with someone else in control. At this crossbow range, he's going to push his pain tolerance to the max. Evgeny's about to turn his back into a dartboard.
All right, guys, I have Spain's best professional dart thrower, and he's going to attempt to throw as many darts as he can right into your back. Are you sure you want to do this?
Yes, of course.
Take a look at this dart. You can see this looks pretty serious. Very, very sharp.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's not just the dart end itself. There's an element of weight to this. So the ballistic of this actually entering the skin, it's not just going to be the dart itself that goes in. It'll be forced in by the weight of the dart before it retracts itself. So if one of the darts actually manages to find its way between one of the vertebrae and damage the cord, it could cause all sorts of problems.
You could get paralyzed.
Absolutely. The potential is there that something serious could happen from this.
So he's getting ready right now.
The dart thrower has a box of official darts, each one sporting a 1-ounce metal tip. He's gonna keep throwing darts into Evgeny's back until the pain becomes too great. Evgeny says he will now shut off pain and tell his body not to bleed.
Oh, it's hard to watch.
It is.
And you can see that it's all over his back. You can see how deep it goes in. I mean, that's at least ½ an inch.
I'd say with the brass as well, you can actually see it pushing in and then retracting a bit.
Yeah, that one even retracted up.
Yeah.
I mean, what should be happening right now?
A normal person would be at least flinching and trying to get away from that pain source. You'd see them start to get redder, you'd see them starting to breathe heavier, you'd see potentially muscle spasms, so every time there's a hit, you'd see the muscles actually go in spasm. Every one of those darts must be hurting.
He's got over 60 in his back right now. Absolutely unbelievable.
Oh, on the shoulder blades as well. That's quite a painful area.
Yeah, like right against bone.
Yeah.
The dart player's doing a great job. There's no way I could throw even one dart at someone, and he's throwing over 80 right now.
It has to be hitting bone. It has to be painful.
It's not on his back, it's on his neck. I mean, as a trauma specialist, have you ever seen anything like this before?
Absolutely not.
And the box of darts is now empty.
I think we're actually out of darts.
Somehow Evgeny has withstood 100 darts in his back.
Wow.
That's incredible.
No blood whatsoever. This is serious mind over matter right here.
And you can see where some of the darts that have gone in have dropped out. There's nothing there. The blades are now coming out, and you would expect to see some blood. It would be natural for some sort of blood. The smallest injection, the smallest venipuncture you would normally experience, you would get an element of blood afterwards. And he's clear.
Are you okay?
Okay.
Yeah, Jerry, that was absolutely amazing. You really became the human porcupine. That was some superhuman pain tolerance. Never seen anything like that before. Congratulations.
No problem.
Not only can Evgeny survive all those darts stuck in his body, but the most amazing thing of all, he doesn't shed a drop of blood. Now that is superhuman. Coming up on my mission to find pain-proof, superhuman people, I'm sending Daniel to meet an indestructible man.
So he's going to have 2 tons of pressure on this fraction of a square inch.
Well, and on his windpipe.
Hi, I'm Stan Lee. This time, I'm on the hunt for people with superhuman pain tolerance. I've always been fascinated by the legends of the Shaolin monks. I've heard of a man in England who claims he has the same immunity to pain as a Shaolin monk. Hey, we can't let that claim go by without sending Daniel to investigate him.
Next up on our journey to find pain-proof people, I'm in London, an unconvincing place to find a Shaolin master. Matthew Ahmed says, like the legendary Shaolin monks, he has learned to completely block out pain so extreme that it would render any normal person unconscious.
To me, pain is now just another emotion that I have full control of.
I'm here to find out if he truly has mastered pain. I've come to London to witness an extraordinary feat. Matthew Ahmed is going to prove he can switch off pain by submerging his whole body into scalding water. Something so dangerous even the Shaolin masters in China have never attempted it.
So I've seen Shaolin warriors before, and I don't mean to be rude, but you don't look like the average Shaolin warrior.
My story is, you know, like a lot of children, I was into martial arts. And when I was 11 years old, I saw the Shaolin warriors. When I was 16 years old, I left school and I flew out to China, and I lived there for around 4 years.
Well, how do you block the pain?
For me, what I do is I create an idea of pain in my mind, which is much greater than the pain that I'll then put my body through.
The idea of pain Matthew uses is the trauma of his father's death. This scalding water looks way too hot for any human. But I want to know exactly how hot it is.
So I got a reading of 150 degrees. Science dictates that anything over 110 degrees is unsafe for a human.
It's actually hot enough to cook. To prove it, this egg begins to poach as soon as it enters the water. But Matthew is now going to submerge his body for 3 whole minutes, the time it would take to fully cook the egg. Seconds in this water should cause third-degree burns. Matthew's already done a minute.
Do you feel the heat?
Definitely can feel the heat. The tingly sensation. I'm able to control it.
Matthew's now been fighting the pain for over 2 minutes.
So how are you feeling? Is the pain accumulating?
It's definitely getting warmer.
So are you in a trance right now?
Yeah, I feel pretty focused.
And even after 3 minutes, he shows no signs of pain.
Did you the human poached egg?
The scalding water was hot enough to cook. But Matthew's body shows no evidence of extreme heat. To test the limits of his own ability, he now wants to subject himself to even more pain. And this time, I want a neuropain expert to analyze Matthew's pain response. Dr. Lewis is going to monitor alpha waves in Matthew's brain while he forces a metal spear against his throat. The results will find out if he can really switch off pain.
So I just want to demonstrate that this thing is nice and sharp. Just give it a little pressure.
Right.
Yeah. So let's see how much force you can generate with your neck and what happens in your mind while you're doing that. Actually, I kind of want to have a feel of what this actually feels like. So could you hold it, and I want to give it an attempt.
Definitely.
No way. I'm not going to do it. I just before we even generated any force, I could just feel the spear going into my throat. Like, yeah, I'm not going to try that.
The skull cap is looking for alpha waves, which will signal that his brain is relaxed.
So at this point, Matthew's going into his cheek.
Now seeing a big increase in alpha just now. Wow. You see the whole brain just flooded with alpha. Very interesting indeed. Look at the amount of alpha which is being generated right across both sides of the brain.
If alpha waves are present when he forces the spear into his throat, it will prove he isn't feeling pain.
Whoa, that's nuts, Matthew.
Matthew's throat took an impressive 59 pounds of force. But amazingly, his alpha increased, suggesting he felt no pain whatsoever. But to prove he's immune to a superhuman level of pain, Matthew wants to raise the stakes even further. He's going to attempt to push a 2-ton truck, a full car length, with the spear right on his throat. Then I'll head back to Spain, where Eduardo Lasaga is about to take on pain on an epic scale.
3,000 pounds.
He's about to attempt to withstand the crushing force of this concrete block on his chest.
I don't think I've honestly been more worried for a superhuman ever.
I'm in London in search of people who can withstand extreme levels of pain. Matthew Ahmet has already taken on the pain of scalding water. But now he's going to try to push this 2-ton truck, a full car length, with a spear against his throat. To move the truck, Matthew will need to exert hundreds of pounds of force, and every pain-inducing ounce will be trying to rupture his throat. There's no doubt that this is potentially fatal.
So, Dr. Lewis, what kind of injuries could he sustain in his throat?
Well, worst case scenario, he could actually puncture his trachea, so he wouldn't be able to breathe, or he could crush the windpipe.
So, I mean, he could get seriously injured.
His target is 14 feet.
All right, Matthew, are you ready?
Yeah.
Let's do
this.
The skull cap will monitor Matthew in search of alpha waves. If his brain is producing alpha, it will prove he isn't feeling pain.
See the focus? He's doing the breathing now.
Absolutely now. So that's what worries me, is the way the spear is going.
Okay.
A bit of skin.
It's moving. You can see the pressure.
Absolutely.
And his face is just turning bright, bright red.
2-ton of vehicle going to about a half a centimetre at the point of his throat. That is pretty impressive.
Matthew is now past the 14-foot mark, but he's still going.
See the focus, the concentration.
He finally stops after punishing 21 feet.
How you feeling, Matthew?
Good, good.
Now it's time to check the alpha waves to find out if he felt any pain.
Wow, that's amazing. Do you remember I was saying that I thought when you were in your meditative state, when you were getting into Zen, you'd produce a lot of alpha? Well, in fact, your alpha levels just about doubled.
You would think that once he's in action, the alpha would go down.
Yes, exactly.
But it went up.
No, exactly.
So wow.
his body is behaving in a completely contradictory way to any other measures you would take.
So have you ever seen results like this, someone being so stressful and the alpha doubling?
I've seen results like this when people are meditating in a temple. I've not seen results like this when people are pushing a 2-ton car with a spear.
Wow, Matthew Ahmet has equaled the ability of a Shaolin monk to withstand pain. But earlier, we witnessed an extreme example of human pain tolerance.
You know, I'm satisfied I've seen enough. I'm a little scared. I think we should stop.
But that was just a walk in the park compared to what he's about to attempt.
I'm back in Spain with a man who claims to have the toughest chest on Earth. Eduardo Lasaga is about to try and withstand the full weight of this concrete block for a whole minute.
Look at this, Dirk. 3,000 pounds. I picture his eyes popping out and his heart popping like a water balloon.
Well, you remember the watermelon? At some point, there's that tipping point where he won't be able to counterbalance this force, and it could very well pop like a watermelon.
I mean, I'm not even sure if I want to go through with this. I don't want to watch him get crushed. I don't want you to get hurt. It seems impossible.
No. Para mí no va a suponer un problema.
No problem, huh?
He seems confident.
The block is almost 10 times the weight that would crush a normal human chest.
This seems to defy science. Are you ready to do this?
Sí, estoy preparado.
All right, well, let's go.
You know, Daniel, he seems confident and ready to do this, but this is terrifying.
Maybe a little too confident. I don't think I've honestly been more worried for a superhuman ever.
The time has now come for Eduardo to prove he has the toughest chest on Earth. And to stop the weight from crushing his ribs, lungs, and heart, Eduardo must build up a potentially fatal amount of pressure in his body.
Just intense now that it's starting to come down.
And if he breathes out, his whole internal structure will effectively implode.
Look at as it's starting to just compress his whole body. Look, the chain is slack now. It's all the weight is on him. 3,000 pounds right on his chest. Look how red he is.
Oh, man. Now you can see the vein.
Yep. That incredible pressure on the inside of his head. He could just have a stroke right here.
Man.
Unbelievable.
That was
incredible.
Absolutely incredible. You okay?
Okay.
Wow. If I didn't see that with my own eyes, I wouldn't believe it
either. Incredible.
Oh, man, that was awesome. I can't believe you did that. And the chains really came slack, and all 3,000 pounds were definitely on your chest. You are absolutely superhuman. One of the most impressive things I've ever seen.
You know, Daniel, it's the type of thing, if you see it in a movie, you figure, well, it's special effects. But this was in real life. You saw it happen.
I saw it with my own eyes. It was 100% real and 100% superhuman.
It seems the rumors were true. Some people train themselves to rise beyond the average person and are actually able to conquer pain. Once again, we've proven that superhumans are everywhere. Who knows where we'll find the next one?